All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sarabjeet Kaur. The headlines. Nation celebrates birth anniversary of tribal freedom fighter Bhagwan Birsa Munda as Janjati Gaurav Divas today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to virtually inaugurate Birsa Munda Museum in Ranchi in Jharkhand, also to address Janjatiya Divas Mahasammelan in Madhya Pradesh. Redeveloped Rani Kamlapati Railway Station at Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh to be dedicated to the nation by Prime Minister today. President Ramnath Kovind promulgates 2 ordinances extending tenure of CBI and ED directors for up to 5 years. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to interact with Chief Ministers, State Finance Ministers and Lieutenant Governors of Union Territories this afternoon. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri to attend International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference beginning today in Abu Dhabi. Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR asks states and agencies to implement emergency measures. Large parts of Kerala affected by rains. Met Department issues orange alert in 6 districts of the state. Over 112 crore 1 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. And in cricket, Australia lift ICC T20 World Cup by beating New Zealand in Dubai. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all doctors, nurses, frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 01123978046 and 1075. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since 16th of August and will continue till 15th August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. And coming to our 27th question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Which freedom fighter was fondly called the Nightingale of India? I repeat the question. Which freedom fighter was fondly called the Nightingale of India? Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826 546262. 8826 546262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. Amrit Mahotsav Quiz @prasarbharati.gov.in.
And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead the celebrations of Janjatiya Gaurav Divas today on the birth anniversary of Birsa Munda, who is revered as Bhagwan by tribal communities across the country. Janjatiya Gaurav Divas is being celebrated as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has paid tribute to Bhagwan Birsa Munda on his birth anniversary today. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that along with intensifying the freedom movement, Birsa Munda always struggled for protecting the interests of the tribal society. Mr. Modi said his contribution to the country will always be remembered. The Prime Minister also extended his best wishes to the people of Jharkhand on their statehood day. Earlier, during his Mann Ki Baat address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had paid rich tributes to the valiant freedom fighter who was martyred at a very young age.
गरीब और मुसीबत से घिरे लोगों की मदद करने में भगवान बिरसा मुंडा हमेशा आगे रहे। उन्होंने सामाजिक बुराइयों को खत्म करने के लिए समाज को जागरूक भी किया। ब्रिटिश हुकूमत ने उन्हें जेल में डाला। उन्हें इस कदर प्रताड़ित किया गया कि 25 साल से भी कम उम्र में वो हमें छोड़ गए। वो हमें छोड़कर गए, लेकिन केवल शरीर से। जनमानस में तो भगवान बिरसा मुंडा हमेशा हमेशा के लिए रचे बसे हुए। लोगों के लिए उनका जीवन एक प्रेरणा शक्ति बना हुआ है। आज भी उनके साहस और वीरता से भरे लोकगीत और कहानियां भारत के मध्य इलाके में बेहद लोकप्रिय हैं। मैं धरती आबा बिरसा मुंडा को नमन करता हूं और युवाओं से आग्रह करता हूं कि उनके बारे में और पढ़ें।
In New Delhi, Mr. Modi will pay floral tributes at the statue of Bhagwan Birsa Munda in the Parliament House. On the 10th of this month, the Union Cabinet had approved declaration of 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, dedicated to the memory of brave tribal freedom fighters, so that coming generations could know about their sacrifices for the country.
On the occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Madhya Pradesh today to participate in Janjatiya Gaurav Divas Mahasammelan in Bhopal, where he will launch multiple initiatives for the welfare of the Janjatiya community at around 1 p.m. In the Janjatiya Gaurav Divas Mahasammelan, Mr. Modi will launch the Rashan Aapke Gram scheme in Madhya Pradesh. It is aimed at delivering the monthly quota of PDS ration to beneficiaries from Janjatiya community in their own villages every month. Mr. Modi will lay the foundation stone of 50 Eklavya model residential schools across the country in states and UTs, including Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Tripura, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Prime Minister will also walk through the exhibition of products made by tribal self-help groups and a photo exhibition of martyrs and heroes of the freedom struggle from the tribal community of Madhya Pradesh. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
There is a lot of enthusiasm in the tribal districts like Jhabua, Alirajpur, Dhar, Mandla and others regarding Tribal Pride Day. Gaurav Yatras are being taken out from every village. Program is being organized in all tribal-dominated Gram Panchayats along with Bhopal, where local residents will be connected to the program through television and webcast. Vehicles coming during Tribal Pride Day will be exempted from toll tax. All the tribes of the state like Gond, Baiga, Bhil, Korku, Saharia, Kol will participate in the program. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
During his visit to Madhya Pradesh, the Prime Minister will also inaugurate the redeveloped Rani Kamlapati railway station today around 3 p.m. Rani Kamlapati railway station, named after the brave and fearless Queen Kamlapati of the Gond Kingdom, is the first world-class railway station in Madhya Pradesh. Redeveloped in a public-private partnership (PPP) mode, the station has been designed as a green building with modern world-class amenities that also takes into account the ease of mobility for Divyangjans. During the event, Mr. Modi will also dedicate to the nation multiple initiatives of the railways in Madhya Pradesh. In Jharkhand, all preparations have been done for the inauguration of Bhagwan Birsa Munda Smriti Udyan Seh Swatantrata Senani Sangrahalaya by Prime Minister Narendra Modi today at 9:45 a.m. in Ranchi. More details from our Ranchi correspondent.
Spread across an area of 38 acres of land, the state-of-art Bhagwan Birsa Munda Smriti Udyan Seh Swatantrata Senani Sangrahalaya in Ranchi is ready to reverberate with the celebrations of birth anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda to be celebrated as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas across the nation. Today happens to be the State Foundation Day as well. Union Tribal Affairs Minister Arjun Munda himself has visited the old Central Jail premises yesterday to ensure the final preparations before the inauguration of the Memorial Park and Museum. Speaking to AIR News, the minister said,
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की जो सोच है उसके आधार पर म्यूजियम बनाने का कार्य को प्रारंभ किया है। 15 नवंबर को भगवान बिरसा मुंडा के जिस स्थान पर जिस कारागार में उनकी मृत्यु हुई थी उसे म्यूजियम के रूप में बनाया गया है। का उद्घाटन स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री जी करेंगे। इसके साथ साथ ही चाहे वो गुजरात हो, आंध्र प्रदेश हो, तेलंगाना हो, उड़ीसा हो, मध्य प्रदेश हो, छत्तीसगढ़ हो, झारखंड हो या नॉर्थ ईस्ट के प्रांत मणिपुर, नागालैंड, आसाम सारे स्थानों पर म्यूजियम बनाने की योजना है।
The half-an-hour-long musical documentary prepared on the life and sacrifices of Birsa Munda is a must-watch. Shilpi for AIR News from Ranchi.
To mark Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, the film division will be screening a short film, A Song of Birsa, on great tribal freedom fighter Birsa Munda, followed by 5 documentary films on various tribes of India. The documentaries will be streamed on Films Division website and YouTube channel tomorrow as a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebration by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. President Ramnath Kovind has promulgated 2 ordinances to extend the tenure of directors of probe agencies, Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, and Enforcement Directorate, ED, up to 5 years. The ordinances are the Central Vigilance Commission Amendment Ordinance 2021 and the Delhi Special Police Establishment Amendment Ordinance 2021. As per the ordinances, the chiefs of the top agencies can be given extensions every year for up to 3 years after they complete the 2-year term. The ordinances said no such extension will be granted after the completion of a period of 5 years in total, including the period mentioned in the initial appointment. The present tenure of the chiefs of the central agencies is 2 years.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will interact with Chief Ministers, State Finance Ministers and Lieutenant Governors of Union Territories through virtual conference mode today. During the meeting, the discussion will be centered on creating an enabling ecosystem for increased proactive facilitation for investments, besides topics of energizing growth, reforms, augmenting investments and creating a reform-focused business climate. More details from our correspondent.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman seeks to embark on a collaborative growth vision for the nation and encourage an open exchange of ideas centered on enhancing the investment climate of the country. The envisaged interaction will attempt to create a policy discourse and a facilitative environment for inward investment-led growth. This will be enabled by a proactive approach to investment promotion, efficiencies brought about by ease of doing business reforms, and an emphasis on accelerating approvals and clearances up to urban local bodies levels. Through the interaction, the states are expected to share their ideas and vision for enhancing the investment climate, leading to a broad consensus regarding the trajectory to be undertaken for India to become the fastest growing economy. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. The nation celebrates birth anniversary of tribal freedom fighter Bhagwan Birsa Munda as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to virtually inaugurate Birsa Munda Museum in Ranchi in Jharkhand, also to address Janjatiya Divas Mahasammelan in Madhya Pradesh. Redeveloped Rani Kamlapati railway station at Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh to be dedicated to the nation by the Prime Minister today. President Ramnath Kovind promulgates 2 ordinances extending tenure of CBI and ED directors for up to 5 years. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to interact with Chief Ministers, State Finance Ministers and Lieutenant Governors of Union Territories this afternoon. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri to attend International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference beginning today in Abu Dhabi. Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR asks states and agencies to implement emergency measures. Large parts of Kerala affected by rains. Med Department issues orange alert in 6 districts of the state. Over 112 crore 1 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. And in cricket, Australia lift ICC T20 World Cup by beating New Zealand in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri is leading a 3-day official and business delegation to UAE from today to attend the Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference ADIPEC. During the visit, Mr. Puri will participate in the inaugural ceremony of ADIPEC and also take part in a ministerial roundtable titled Charting the Climate Action Path from COP26 to COP27. The minister will inaugurate the India Pavilion, set up jointly by Federation of Indian Petroleum Industry, Directorate General of Hydrocarbons and Confederation of Indian Industry. Mr. Puri is scheduled to meet Minister of Energy and Infrastructure of UAE, Suhail Mohammad Faraj Al-Mazrui. The minister will also inaugurate the oil and gas sectoral floor at the Inter Pavilion of the Dubai Expo. The Commission for Air Quality Management, CAQM, in NCR and adjoining areas convened a crucial meeting on an emergent basis yesterday in wake of deteriorating air quality of the Delhi NCR region. It has asked states and concerned agencies to be in complete readiness for implementing emergency measures as listed under Graded Response Action Plan. The adverse air quality scenario in Delhi NCR as a combined result of paddy stubble burning, vehicular pollution, post-Diwali pollution, dip in temperatures and other local factors was also greatly impacted by a dust storm moving in from the southwesterly direction of the Thar Desert, which brought in huge quantities of dust that further amplified the PM 2.5 and PM 10 levels significantly. Considering all aspects causing a spike in the air pollution levels, the Commission reiterated that the actions recommended by the orders of the subcommittee shall be strictly implemented by the states.
Over 112 crore 1 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Meanwhile, over 11,000 new COVID-19 cases were reported in the country in the last 24 hours, while more than 11,376 people have recovered. The Union Health Ministry said that the COVID recovery rate in the country now stands at 98.26%, which is highest since March last year. In Union Territory of Ladakh, Leh District Disaster Management Authority has ordered to close all schools in the district from today till further orders as part of COVID management. Our Leh correspondent reports that the increasing trend of COVID positivity has forced the authorities to close down the schools once again after a month-long offline schooling for higher classes. Leh District, the capital of UT Ladakh, has been witnessing sharp rise in the number of COVID-positive cases during this week. The active cases has reached up to 154 and 149 of these cases are detected in Leh. The number of cases on 1st November in Leh was 71.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
"15th of November is the birth anniversary of the fearless freedom fighter and tribal hero Birsa Munda. He was born at Ulihatu village in Khunti district of Jharkhand on 15th November 1875. Birsa belonged to the Munda tribe of Chota Nagpur region. Fondly called Dharti Abba or Father of the Earth, he encouraged his followers to get back to their tribal roots and follow their traditions.
Birsa believed that self-rule is the only way to protect tribal rights. He raised the slogan, Abua Raj Setar Jana, Maharani Raj Tundu Jana, which means, let the kingdom of the queen be ended and create our own kingdom. It became one of the famous slogans which helped to organize Birsa's guerrilla army and attack the British army in different parts of Chota Nagpur region.
In the late 1890s, Birsa set out to abolish the feudal system that the British had introduced in the Adivasi forest land. Under this system, the British invited migrants from other states to take over work on tribal land while they usurped all the profits. Thus, the original owners were left bereft of their land and any means of livelihood.
In March 1900, while fighting the British alongside his guerrilla army, Birsa was arrested in Jamkopai forest in Chakradharpur. A few months later, he passed away in custody. The icon of India's independence struggle attained martyrdom on 9th June at the age of 24. Almost a decade after his death, the British introduced the Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act, CNT, which prohibits the transfer of tribal land to non-tribal parties. the state of Jharkhand was created on his birth anniversary in the year 2000.
15th of November is also the death anniversary of the freedom fighter and social reformer Vinoba Bhave. In April 1951, he began a campaign of agrarian reform known as the Bhudan movement, urging wealthy landowners to give 1/6 of their holdings to the landless so that they could grow crops. He described it as a revolution through love. The voluntary land reform movement was started at Pochampalli in Telangana.
Vinoba was able to collect several acres of donated land and distribute it under the Odisha Bhudan Yagna Bill, passed by state government on July 26, 1953. It was in Odisha that the movement took a new form of Gramdan or village donation. Vinoba single-handedly acquired more than 15 lakh acres of tillable land, which was then gifted to the poor. In 1982, Bhave fell extremely ill and stopped taking food and medicines. He died on 15th November 1982 at the age of 87. He was honored with India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, in 1983.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Anjan Trikha, Senior Doctor, AIIMS Delhi, will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to the coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. onwards on toll-free number 1800115767. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
In Kerala, the Met Department has issued orange alert in 6 districts of the state, indicating the possibility of heavy to very heavy rainfall today. Orange alert is in place in the central districts of Ernakulam, Idukki, Thrissur and in the northern districts of Kozhikode, Kannur and Kasaragod. Talking to AIR News, weather scientist R.K. Jenamani said the rain will continue for the next 2 days due to the depression in the Arabian Sea.
कर्नाटक का जो दक्षिणी इलाका है और केरला का जो उत्तरी भाग है उसी में एक अरेबियन सी का एक छोटा सा सिस्टम के कारण हेवी रेन होगा 2 दिन तक, आज और कल। उसके बाद कम हो जाएगा। तमिलनाडु का जो अंदरूनी इलाका है जैसे कन्याकुमारी है और जो नीलगिरी एरिया है उसी में हेवी रेनफॉल होगा 2 दिन का, और चेन्नई में तो हेवी रेन का वार्निंग नहीं।
The department also said strong winds with speeds ranging from 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, gusting to 60 kilometers per hour is likely to prevail over Kerala coast. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea. Few districts have declared holiday for educational institutions in the state. Noted writer and dramatist Shiv Shahir Baba Saheb Purandare passed away this morning in Pune. He was 99 years old. He has published several books on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his style of administration, as well as the forts from Shivaji's era. He had also directed Janta Raja, a popular play on Chhatrapati's life and leadership.
The virtual registrations for India's biggest film festival, the 52nd International Film Festival of India, are now open. Filmmakers and film enthusiasts can visit the portals ifigoa.org and dff.gov.in for registrations. The 9-day-long 52nd International Film Festival of India will begin on the 20th of this month in Goa.
In cricket, Australia lifted their maiden T20 World Cup title as they defeated New Zealand in the final by 8 wickets at the Dubai International Stadium. Chasing a victory target of 173, Australia won the game with 7 balls to spare. They made 173 for the loss of 2 wickets.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between -1 and 15 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 12 and 27 degrees Celsius. Leh is likely to witness a mainly clear sky. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky as well, while Muzaffarabad as well will have a mainly clear sky. National capital Delhi will have shallow fog. Temperature will vary between 12 and 26 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. Chennai is expected to have partly cloudy sky with rain and thunderstorm. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature will hover between 22 and 28 degrees Celsius. Hyderabad may have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The city observed minimum temperature of 22 while maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. Guwahati had fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later is expected. Temperature will hover between 16 and 29, while Imphal will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. All dailies have widely noticed the takeaways from Glasgow. Hindustan Times, India leads negotiations as COP26 deal is done, while the Asian Age reports, deal emerges at Glasgow COP, India firm on coal phase down, nation to meet again next year on carbon cuts, Delhi claims victory. Another story in the same paper quotes UN in its headline, Climate Catastrophe Looms Ahead. Papers have also noticed the anti-Maoist operation. The Indian Express writes, top Maoist Milind Teltumbre, one of 26 killed in Gadchiroli, says police. Delhi shuts till November 20th to fight toxic air, headlines The Pioneer. The Hindu reports slight improvement in Delhi's air quality after 3 days. However, the present AQI of 330 still comes in very poor category. India's air defense gets a big boost. Russia starts delivery of S-400 missiles, writes the Indian Express. And finally, with Indian students looking west more than ever before, the Business Standard carries an important story. Child's foreign education, be wary of currency depreciation.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Which freedom fighter was fondly called the Nightingale of India? I repeat the question. Which freedom fighter was fondly called the Nightingale of India? WhatsApp your response on 8826 546262, 8826 546262, or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Nation celebrates birth anniversary of tribal freedom fighter Bhagwan Birsa Munda as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas today. Prime Minister Modi to virtually inaugurate Birsa Munda Museum in Ranchi in Jharkhand, also to address Janjatiya Divas Mahasammelan in Madhya Pradesh. Redeveloped Rani Kamlapati railway station at Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh to be dedicated to the nation by Prime Minister today. President Ramnath Kovind promulgates 2 ordinances extending tenure of CBI and ED directors for up to 5 years. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to interact with Chief Ministers, State Finance Ministers and LGs of Union Territories this afternoon. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri to attend International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference beginning today in Abu Dhabi. Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR asks states and agencies to implement emergency measures. Large parts of Kerala affected by rains. Met Department issues orange alert in 6 districts of the state. Over 112 crore 1 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. And in cricket, Australia lift ICC T20 World Cup by beating the Kiwis in Dubai. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.